was fine.
And we are live. Welcome, John Pardi, to the Pace Happiest Hour.
Happiest hour of the happiest.
So glad to have you here today. You are in Nashville right now, where Wi-Fi can be spotty after getting hit again by heavy winds last night.
Yeah,
Um,
they said it might be coming back tonight too.
oh, that's not good to hear. Yeah, Nashville has felt hit particular. I mean, everybody is hit hard right now, but it feels like Nashville. It's just not fair what you guys are having to face there, and it's a city full of musicians who all just got knocked off tour, and including you right now. You'd be out there playing guitar and singing for the masses right now, right?
Every chance we got.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you here. Your third album, Heartache Medication, came out last fall. We've got a little heartache medication here today. You were just telling me yours came from your own kegerator there in the house?
Yeah, you can finally feel it because I'm here all the time to drink it.
Well, tell us a little bit about this album. I mean, you know, it's good. You've got a lead single, which is the title track, which starts out with fiddle, and you've got pedal steel. It's good to hear that on country radio. It was a #1 country radio hit. And talk a little bit about what it means to you to just be getting these instruments, getting sort of traditional country played on the radio.
Well, it means being accepted, really, as being different. Really, at these times, like you could listen to so many songs that are very themed as kind of like, it's like they got all the good nuts and bolts in it that are going to go #1, and to where I'm coming in with a whole kind of different motor to try to get in the charts. And I think that's one is to be accepted with your sound is a big deal at country radio. And furthermore, now after California Sunrise and Heartache Medication, to where I'm getting to where the PDs trust that, these songs going to work. Like this is going to be a testing, as they would say. So it doesn't happen overnight with being a traditional artist, or being like they call it neo or a new, or I call it like punk tree or turbo tonk, our little nicknames for it. But it's been fun, and we've had a lot of fans. Been there since day one at country radio and streaming and showing up the shows, and to now where it's just kind of still slowly growing, but in a great way.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it took a couple years of touring, getting these songs ready. Even before that first record was made, you were out on the road with Dierks Bentley and kind of aligning yourselves with some of these country artists that have been bringing back more traditional country sounds into, what works for country radio right now.
Yeah.
So I noticed Natalie Hemby was a co-writer with you on Heartache Medication. I just saw her at the Ryman opening for Brandi Carlile.
Awesome.
She's fantastic. One of the high women. I love everything that they're doing out there.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see.
No, and she's such a cool person. And I've been a fan of her work and her songwriting. But our co-write came from like hanging out and laughing and like, once you feel that connection with somebody, like in a deeper kind of, not in a spiritual way, but like as a musician, you always got that kind of feel for it. I was like, I like you. I think we could make music, or I trust your knowledge of music, something like that. And then that's what kind of sparked co-write. And then I kind of came in early and wrote Heartache Medication with them, and her and Barry Dean. We wrote in like an hour and 20 minutes, and we were just good to go.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, it seems like in Nashville, that kind of thing is happening all the time, where you're hanging out with somebody, you realize you kind of see things the same way, or there's just some connection there. Right now, that's so hard to cultivate with everybody stuck in their own homes. Do you feel like you're still able to connect with greater Nashville and your friends and family, do things like that, Zoom and getting them on the phone or talking from your front porch? Any of that happening?
I mean, in a way, the whole quarantine deal has been, just looking on the bright side of it, like let's look at some positives from it. Like you do get to catch up with family more than usual because you're not as busy. But I still got a pretty packed schedule for just doing stuff at the house. But I have, you get FaceTime a mom, FaceTime friends, stuff you wouldn't really do. And it's more of like you're wanting that just this, see a face and talk and, experience the digital connection instead of the just from personal. I will say writing on Zoom was tricky. You do miss like the camaraderie of jamming together when you're writing songs because you really can't jam in time, or if you're gonna strum the G chord and I play a lick, like it's not gonna be in time.
Yeah,
stuff that kind of like sparks your inspiration is really hard on Zoom. But I try as a songwriter, it's like, I'm trying not to blame it on Zoom, like find a way to work around it as a songwriter. That's my new thing, instead of like, because the first thing, like, you're gonna be like, it sucks writing on Zoom. Well, yeah, it does, but that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That's what it is right now. So let's just try it.
So you feel like you're still working when you're at home. You're doing things like this. You're writing. You're doing everything you can as a songwriter and performer and country artist to promote your music and all that stuff. Is that taking up a lot of time right now?
No. I mean, it's been good. Yeah, we'll do stuff with radio, but that's all like half. A lot of happy hours are fun with the kegerator. I'm like, I gotta go down in the basement and drink some beer and talk to people. My life is so hard. And when you say, being myself, I get to work on my property. I have 40 acres down the road. I can drive my Kawasaki mule there and work on the backyard, mow lawns. Like there's all kinds of stuff I can do in the shop and everything, to where I kind of have a work regimen that kind of helps me. So I'm not just stuck here. I'm doing stuff that makes me feel good, and then I bring it to my music to where I can still talk about working. I can work,
yeah.
The working man, like it's just like little things that you focus on myself. And sometimes being a good songwriter is not writing songs. I feel like to kind of get that feeling, think about songs you would like to write, and then like leaving the guitar alone and then picking it up and just whatever comes out, record it. Because I feel like it's bottled up, and I try to really focus on that instead of just like writing. Some artists, songwriters, they love that. Thomas Rhett writes all the time. He's just geared like that. I'm more of like, I like to experience a little bit of something and think about other things in music and then bring it back to music. But everybody's different,
So do you find yourself with a melody in your head or a line when you're out mowing the lawn or working on your property?
Yeah, they'll pop in, or it's a good time to listen to music too. Like listen to some pop, listen to what's going on in the hip hop world, listen to what's going on in the rock world. It's kind of branch out and kind of experience new sounds. And I think that's important too. And listen to what's going on in country and what your friends, listen to songs that people are writing. There's a lot of that aspects that kind of keeps your mind right to sit down and play, just start playing and singing. You never know. You never know with me what's going to fall out when I'm singing a melody, or I call them dummy lyrics, where I'm kind of inserting lyrics that don't really rhyme or make sense, but they rhyme. Well, they rhyme, but they don't make sense. But there may be a cool line in there that you can put somewhere. It's kind of like your conscious just like flowing. Like, I guess what I've described my writing is like when they say, here's a pen and a paper, write what comes first to your mind and just go. But you're singing a melody.
Mm-hmm. So
all the words literally sound like words, but it helps.
So growing up in California, a lot of people don't think that as fertile ground for country music, but there's so much rich history there. How much of that was affecting you and the music you were listening to, and were you aware of all that Bakersfield stuff going on as a kid?
I was really into, Well, it just depends. Like when I was listening to country music my whole life, so like growing up, '90s country was king, you know, and Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, and Hank Williams Jr., George Strait, Dwight Yoakam, I mean, Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, all those, that kind of era where it still was feeding off the '80s into the '90s was where I really grew up listening to radio because my grandmother loved it. And she would like, I remember her showing me Lukenbach, Texas. I was like 10, you know, I was like, what is this? Where does this come from? You know, you're just craving any new sound. And so at a really young age, I was really into country music. I got really into rock and roll. Blink-182 was huge in high school. I loved like Green Day and all that, like kind of punky sound that was real poppy. And then it went back to country in college, and I started like a bluegrass honky tonk band and wrote songs for that. And then I moved to Nashville. And so all that is kind of where that influence and stuff came from. So that all kind of molded the sound in, and I was doing an interview with Shiflett on the Hello Walls or Walking the Floor thing. And I realized that you don't know you have that whole West Coast thing until like you start realizing that it's like a thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like when I was in that bluegrass band, or, you know, it wasn't even a bluegrass band. It was a bluegrass honky tonk band. Like we played like Brooks and Dunn, but we had a mandolin and fiddle, like keg band. But it still had that feeling. It had that West Coast feeling. And I guess it's just the energy of being out there. And like in May, it's May, I had scheduled 2 weeks of writing. Bryce Long and Jeff Hyde, Luke Laird, and Red Akins were going to fly out to Northern California, and we're going to spend 3 or 4 days writing songs out there to get that, just be out there and experience it, because it's just kind of this, it's kind of in the air, that energy. And I feel like that's what kind of, I brought that with me and never really forget that. But I learned a lot more about Bakersfield and that whole sound when I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame and it had the Bakersfield exhibit. I knew all the songs and everything, but I learned so much about how country came to California. And I had crazy more respect for it, because Dwight Yoakam was the one who introduced me, not personally, but musically, into Buck Owens, into Merle Haggard, as like when I was really starting to like write country, like for reals. I was serious. Like, I think I'm going to do this for like it's professional, or at least try. And so yeah, it was just kind of the spirit of the West that you just kind of feel. And I thought that was a good explanation. You don't really know until you realize, until you're gone.
Yeah. That home was, you know, you're in Nashville now, but where you left had country in the air as well.
Yeah, well, and where I'm from, it's all farmlands and it's all blue collar, you know, working people, and we liked every kind of music, and we loved country at the same time. You know, the jukeboxes are always full of country, rock, rap, everything. It was kind of a very diverse area, and that's I think that's why I'm so kind of open to everything. And like I always say, there's so much like, well, that's poppy country, blah blah. I'm like, well, you know what, he's just doing his thing, leave him alone.
Yeah. That's great. Well, one thing we ask everybody on the show is, you know, now that we're all quarantined, what is the piece of art, whether that's a TV show, a book, somebody else's album, that is entertaining you right now, getting you through this, distracting you, keeping you sane, whatever?
Man, country problems. I got just country problems, man. Tractor problems, trying to grow grass, burning trees. I'm going to plant soybeans for the animals on the 40 acres for the deer. So I just like watching the deer and just make, you know, they kind of go out and eat, and like really learning how to grow stuff and stuff like that. It's been really kind of fun, and it's very hands-on. I got all the tractors and stuff, and it's really been fun. It's a love-hate relationship, which allows me to go, like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm just going to do house stuff, watch TV, or I'll watch some movies. Netflix is great. But mainly really kind of learning Tennessee, because it rains all the time. Like you were saying about the windstorm and stuff. That affects all the trees, the grass, the seeds you plant. Like, it's all affected by that. Whereas in California, it's dry all the time, and you just put water on it every day at a minimal rate. It's gonna grow. It's got that oil in the country. That's why it's the #1 ag state. That's why they can grow so many different crops. Out here, it's just it's tough. So just kind of learning that, it's been a lot of fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've been trying to get out in nature as much as I can, and I've been really surprised in Atlanta you can do that in the city, so many different places, but just that, I understand that need of just like being on the land, being out there, seeing animals out there. So growing soybeans, that'd be fun to see what comes to your property and what you get coming by there.
Get some soy sauce, get some edamame, put it in a bowl, you eat it.
There you go, eat it off the
If the deer
off the vine.
Yeah, I'm going to fence off a little area, because if the do grow really well, they'll eat all of it.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to see them out there, and that you don't know where they are. That's why you got to feed them so you can see them. But it's just fun. And then I've been clearing a lot of land. My goal is to put cattle on one day, and but you got to clear a lot of stuff to get the fence lines ready. So it's a chore. Like I said, it's not like this is so fun. A lot of times, like, why are we doing this? But it's that putting in that hard work feeling that I need, and I think we all need it when we're just kind of sitting at home. So I'm lucky to have property to just go out and let loose on.
Well, that's very cool. All right, well, it is time for a toast. So I'm going to bring Anna Brun into the mix here. So it'll take just a second. So I've got my beer ready. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, so this is the part of the Happiest Hour where we like to celebrate all the people just doing amazing stuff. And John, I think his Wi-Fi might have gone out again. So
we've had some connection problems.
Yeah. So we will toast for you, John.
Yeah.
We were about to say goodbye to John. All right. So Anna.
Yes.
Today I would like to toast to all the teachers around the world that are finding new ways to try to connect with kids and teach them in what I can imagine is just an impossible task at times, but I know they're trying, and I know they're doing great work and getting creative to figure out how to do this. So today I would like to raise a glass to the teachers.
That is very important. And to all the parents trying to be teachers.
Yes, and all the parents that are now finding themselves homeschooling.
Yeah.
So who else should we toast today, Anna?
Well, I think we should toast all the musicians trying to be creative and figuring out how to communicate in a different way. I think a lot of people are trying their best to be creative and trying their best to find, but we're longing for the live shows, I think.
We absolutely are longing for the live shows. I'm so excited to hear some music from you in a moment, but I will drink to that, to all the musicians. That is actually a great segue into, we are launching today the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund program here on our YouTube channel. So we've got a little donate button. Anybody watching out there, I know so many people are not in a position to give right now, but if you are, consider Sweet Relief. They do such amazing work, have for decades, to really look out for musicians when they're in need. So many musicians don't have health care, don't have anything to fall back on when their tour gets canceled. So more than ever, the work they're doing is important. So, Anna, you are in Oslo right now. How are things in Oslo?
It's quite calm now. I usually live in Stockholm actually, but I ended up here because I have my boyfriend here, so I was staying here. So I've been here now for 7, 8 weeks, and Oslo has been quite locked down. Not as hard as in many other cities, but it's been mostly closed down. The schools have been closed. Everything's been closed. But in the last week, they started opening up, and very, very slowly, people are starting to do more, being out, and the kindergartens have opened, and for the schools for the small children have opened. So it's starting to the infection rate is really low at the moment. So we're hoping that they'll keep it that way.
I hope so. So I know everywhere it's starting to try to open, and I really hope that we don't see another big spike, but I know we've got to.
Yeah.
So 2017, your last studio album, Leave Me Breathless, covers record, covering so many cool songs. And then the following year, you had a live album, but it is going to be time for a new studio album of originals later this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what's coming down?
Well, I think we only have like 2 songs left to master now, so everything's it's at the end of the production, and I've been working on it since September, so it's quite a long process, and we have like 18 songs, so it's a big amount of songs. It's going to be a very it's an album with the big questions. It's big issues of life, just grief, love, politics, climate, lots of big themes, and it ranges from the big arrangements with lots of beats and big strings and everything to very, 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 very intimate ballads. So it's going to be when you haven't really. I've released 3 songs from the album, and it feels like I've cut the cord to them. They're out there, but the rest is still here. So I'm kind of. It's hard to see it from the outside before it's done, and
Well, I loved the video for "Feel Like I Want to Cry."
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
So anybody, after we're done here, anybody watching should go check out that video. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song,
beautiful.
and a beautiful video. So, what are you going to play first for us today?
I thought maybe I'd play that one. And this is the premiere for me to play it solo. So that's my gift to you today, giving you my nerves. But I'm gonna challenge myself is always good. So this is Feeling Like I'm Gonna Cry. Keep feeling like I wanna cry. This world is burning in my eyes. I try to aim for the light, but when I look up, it's still dark. I keep feeling like I wanna cry. All this beauty to be sacrificed, a shadows cast by us, our minds all covered in dust. I wanna hold out my hand, offer everything I am. Can we form a chain, get us all back on track again? I keep feeling like I wanna cry. We're waiting for the seasonal tide. Will it arrive this year? Will the leaves turn brown? Offer everything I am. Can we form a chain? Get us all back on track
That's so great.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. So,
Thanks, my pleasure.
I think a lot of people are looking forward to the new record. I want to talk a little bit about the last one, though. You got to record with the Swedish Orchestra and Hans Eck. What was that experience like?
Oh, I love playing with orchestra. It's I've done it a few times in the past. The first time was actually, strange enough, was with Peter Gabriel. I was touring with him back in 2010-11 with the Blood Orchestra, New Blood Orchestra. So we were touring America, North America and Europe with that symphonic orchestra, and I was singing, doing duets and singing backup vocals. And I remember thinking, oh God, one day I hope this will happen. I can do this with my own music. And then the first time it happened was 2013, and then we did it again in the last couple of years. And I've played with orchestras all around Europe. And then we did this recording with the Swedish Radio Orchestra, and it became this magnificent, really like bombastic album. So I'm really happy about it.
That's fantastic. So, you say the new album, it's dealing with huge themes, which I can understand at the time right now they would be drawing you towards them.
Well, the songs were finished like last year, so this is what's so interesting, because every song seems to fit the thing we're in. It's like, because I feel that in this situation we are in, the big questions actually pop up. It's almost like everything becomes so clear and important, and relationships and climate and politics, and everything becomes so clear. So an album full of big issues just kind of fits into the time we're in, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I wasn't even meaning like these weeks. I was meaning more broadly
this time.
But you're right. And this has come up a few times when we've been doing the Happiest Hour and talking to people about songs that they wrote for albums that are coming out this year, and the new meanings that they've taken on during this pandemic. Do you feel that with these songs?
Oof, so weird. Every song I've released now has like kind of gotten this new light on them. It's really strange.
Yeah. I mean, there's songs that I've been hearing that have been rolling out that it just seems impossible they got written before all this happened.
So weird.
It is.
We're all psychics.
We are. Well, I don't know. Maybe we just felt this coming or something.
Right.
So how are you holding up in all of this, and not being able to go out and tour and see friends and all of that?
It's getting. I'm feeling it now. It's like 2 months now. So, but it's, I try to. For me, as a professional, I've been lucky because this period was actually planned to be a period where I'm finishing a studio album, computer work, like sending files back and forward, and mastering and mixing and all that stuff. So that's kind of things that I can do at a distance. But the fall is booked for like 40 gigs and everything. So, if that falls, I'm just trying to, every time I feel frustrated and sad, I try to be grateful because I know that I am lucky. I am an established musician, so I have like an income, and I live in Norway. I'm in a house. I have a garden. I'm kind of, I feel so grateful for my own position. So I try not to go there. I try to be grateful because it's not. There's so many people struggling so much more than me. So I'm trying to.
Yeah, but it's I think hard for everyone right now, no matter what position you're in. But yeah, I appreciate what you're saying as well. So what are you going to play second for us today?
Well, that was interesting since you talked about how songs get a new meaning. This is the first single from the album that I released in February, I think it was. And it's a song about it's kind of like an inner dialogue about trying to cope with fear and trying to cope with your mind, actually, in a situation where things are hard. And one of the phrases are fear is a lonely exile. And this whole song became so much like, so many people are on their own right now, and how they're struggling with that, and somehow this song kind of started communicating in a different way when it came out. So I recorded this version called In Isolation, which I sent out on the internet, and it just fit. It was really strange. So I'm going to do that version now, the solo version. So it's called Don't Run and Hide. Don't run and hide, take a peek outside, I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a look outside, I'm here for you. I hear you roaming in the night, you can't let go. You are caught behind a wall of noise. You used to smile, but now it's hurting. Feels like icicles on your chin. Don't you know all the times we've talked about this now? We've talked about it over and over and over and over. Don't run and hide, take a peek outside, I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a look outside, I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a peek outside, I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a look outside, I'm here for you. Fear is a choice, a lonely exile. It's a cloud dimming the landing light. When you find yourself between reality and dreams, accept and breathe. Oh, let it go, I'll catch you. It's time now, don't hide now. I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a peek outside. I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a look outside. I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a peek outside. I'm here for you. Don't run and hide, take a look outside. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Wow, yeah, that definitely falls into the category of songs that it's hard to believe it was written before all of this.
Exactly. Very strange.
So, one thing we like to ask everybody on this show is, what is the piece of art that is getting you through this? What is the TV show, book, other album that is keeping you sane and entertained and occupied right now?
Well, it's hard to say one thing, I think. Since
You can say many things.
yeah, it's well, my days are very open, and I work with work on the album. There's so much like with my own music, but in between that, I just listen to so much new music. I use those playlists, you know, where they give me music, and I really do listen a lot now. There's a lot of space for that. I get inspired and thinking about production and all that stuff. And also, I'm also the kind of person that does a little bit of escapism. So if I want to rest from the world, I watch like really easygoing shows, like very easy drama and comedy.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the spirit that we have almost not watched any like heavy stuff. We have just kind of, I don't know. It's the music that helped me. I think I haven't really dug into the big drama or the big documentaries right now. It's just it's interesting because it's one of the things that always or becomes so clear is also how important art and music is for us as humans in this period, and that becomes so that strange balance that people are struggling so much. The people who work within culture and music are struggling so much now, and we are very important to people. And that is such a strange dissonance in that.
Yeah.
So
I know we're all missing live music and being part of an audience. This has helped me just every day, knowing at 5 o'clock I'm going to have some live music. I'm going to have connection and conversation, and those are things that I'm craving. So, but what's it going to mean when you can stand up on a stage again and see an audience out there and feel that energy?
It's going to be beautiful, I think. I've done this amazing thing this last few weeks, because I started this video chat room. Like there's space for 50 people in there, so I invited my fans to come in, and we've had these like sessions where we meet and talk to people. It's like a meet and greet online. It's really cool, and I played a couple of songs for them, and it's been a really nice conversation, because most of them are actually at home and can't go out. So it's been such an amazing experience for everyone to just talk to people from around the world and feel very connected and feel that we're in the same situation. And I hope that that's something I can continue doing, even though we can meet in real life as well, because it's been a lovely way to meet my listeners, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got Brazil in the house today, so I'm sure
Yeah,
they're coming from all over here.
that's good.
So when all this is done and you find yourself back in the States and coming to Atlanta, we will have to do this in person in our studio
That'd be
in
nice.
Atlanta.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
So what you've got the album coming out in fall, you've got dates hopefully playing in the fall. So how much work do you have now between getting this finished and finalized and put out into the world? Do you feel like, all right, we're there, or is there still a lot to do?
It's just 2 songs to finish now. Today I have every one except the 2 last songs finished. So we're just waiting for the 2 last songs. And so now it's going to be artwork, content, preparing, doing versions that I can play on my own. Lots. It's the sky's the limit. You can, be creative and make dances. You can do whatever. Yeah. So,
how much do you enjoy being involved in the artwork and the videos that go along with this and the visual side of what you do?
I try to. I'm a believer in using people that have done things a lot more than me. So I'm not a visual artist, but I can have ideas. But I try to use people who are really good at things. So I usually give it to someone. I say, this is the song. I have a vision about this. Mostly just feelings, like I want to feel this or the colors or whatever. And then I give it to them and let them kind of do their vision, because I think that's a wonderful thing when you cross fade like art. Yeah. And it has I've done it many times, and it's been quite successful many times as well. It just gives my music a different level of something that I like.
Well, and they are playing off that music, so it is collaborative, even if you're handing it over and seeing where that music goes, and then all of a sudden you see a little flower coming and going, and the imagery. So it's beautiful. It is a beautiful thing. I've learned that early on when we started the magazine. Find people who are talented and let them make it beautiful in the way that they know how to make it beautiful.
Exactly.
So that's very cool. Well, this has been such a pleasure, Anna.
Really nice
to see you. Thank you so much for doing
you.
this.
It's lovely.
Stay safe. Good luck with the album. Hopefully the tour can happen and people can hear these songs live, because
if not this year, it's going to be next year. So
if not this year, next year.
I'm not completely bummed. I'm going to stay positive.
Yeah. We will meet again. That is my mantra right now.
Yes, exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Take care.
You too.